She gave up her future to make him successful, but the day he got everything, he gave his heart to another woman. What he lost next will shock you. Jessica was known by everyone around her as a very beautiful young lady. People often turned their heads when she walked by. She had a bright smile that made others feel warm, and she always carried herself with confidence. Many people admired her beauty, but those who knew her well also respected her kind heart. Jessica grew up in a small neighborhood where life was not always easy. Her parents worked very hard to take care of her and her younger brother. Even when money was not enough, Jessica never complained. She believed that one day, her hard work would make her life better. She was a very serious student. From primary school to secondary school, Jessica always did her best. Her teachers loved her because she was respectful and always ready to learn. She believed education was the key to a better future. During her final year in secondary school, Jessica met Moses. Moses was tall, handsome, and very hardworking. He was not rich, but he had big dreams. He wanted to become successful and change his life for good. Jessica admired his determination. They started as friends. They studied together, shared ideas, and encouraged each other. Slowly, their friendship became love. Jessica loved Moses deeply because he made her feel special. Moses also promised Jessica that he would always love her and never hurt her. After secondary school, Jessica had the chance to continue her education in the university. She was very excited because she wanted to become successful and help her family. But Moses had problems paying for his own university fees. His family could not afford it. Jessica loved Moses so much that she made a big decision. She decided to stop her own education and help Moses continue his own. She believed that when Moses became successful, they would both enjoy the good life together. Many people advised her not to make that choice. Some told her to think about her own future first. But Jessica believed in love. She believed that sacrifice was necessary for a better tomorrow. Jessica began to work small jobs to support Moses. She woke up early every day and returned home late at night. Even when she was tired, she still smiled because she believed she was building a future with the man she loved. Moses promised Jessica that he would never forget her sacrifices. He told her many times that she was the best woman in the world. Jessica trusted him with all her heart. Years passed, and Moses continued his studies. Jessica remained strong, always supporting him with money and encouragement. Sometimes she did not even buy things she needed because she wanted Moses to succeed. She believed that true love meant standing by someone even when life was difficult. But life does not always go as planned. Jessica did not know that the future was already preparing a test that would change everything she believed about love and sacrifice. Moses worked very hard in school. He knew Jessica was sacrificing so much for him, and he promised himself that he would never disappoint her. He spent long nights reading books and preparing for exams. Whenever he felt tired, he remembered Jessica and found strength to continue. Jessica continued working hard. She took different small jobs. Some days she sold clothes, other days she helped at a small restaurant. Life was not easy, but she never complained. She believed she was doing the right thing. Sometimes Jessica felt sad when she saw her old classmates going to university. She wondered what her life would have been like if she had continued her education. But whenever Moses called her and thanked her, she felt happy again. Moses always told her that her sacrifice would not be in vain. He told her that one day, he would give her a better life. He promised to marry her and take care of her forever. Jessica believed every word. After many years of hard work, Moses finally graduated from the university. It was a day of great joy. Jessica cried tears of happiness because she felt her sacrifice had finally paid off. Soon after graduation, Moses got a very good job in a big company. His salary was good, and his life began to change. He bought better clothes and started meeting new people. Jessica felt proud of him. She told everyone how hardworking Moses was. She believed their future was finally bright. As Moses continued working, he decided to marry Jessica. The wedding was simple but beautiful. Jessica felt very happy because she was finally becoming the wife of the man she loved. At the wedding, Moses promised in front of everyone that he would love Jessica forever. Jessica also promised to always stand by him. Their marriage started peacefully. They lived in a small but comfortable house. They laughed together, cooked together, and shared many happy moments. Jessica believed her patience had finally brought her happiness. She believed nothing could ever destroy their love. But life was quietly preparing for another challenge. Months passed, and Moses became very respected at his workplace. His boss trusted him because he was honest and hardworking. His colleagues also liked him because he was calm and respectful. Jessica always prepared his meals early in the morning. She made sure everything was ready before he left for work. She wanted to make his life easy because she loved him deeply. Moses also appreciated Jessica's care. He often told his friends that Jessica was the best wife anyone could ever have. He knew she had sacrificed her education for him, and he felt grateful. One day, something new happened at Moses' office. The company employed a new staff named Clara. Clara was very attractive, confident, and bold. She dressed well and spoke in a confident voice. Many people in the office noticed her immediately. During her first week at work, Clara noticed Moses. She admired how calm and respectful he was. Unlike some other men in the office, Moses did not try to impress her. This made her more curious about him. Clara began to look for ways to talk to Moses. She asked him questions about work, even when she already knew the answers. Moses was polite but careful. He did not want to create any problems in his marriage. Jessica trusted Moses completely. She believed he would never hurt her. But sometimes, temptation begins quietly. Clara continued to find reasons to talk to Moses. She laughed at his jokes and often praised his intelligence. Moses began to notice her attention. At first, he ignored it. But slowly, something began to change. As time went on, Clara became more comfortable around Moses. She often visited his desk to ask questions or discuss work matters. Sometimes she even stayed longer than necessary. Moses noticed her interest but tried to remain professional. He remembered Jessica's sacrifices and did not want to hurt her. One evening, Clara asked Moses to help her finish a project after office hours. Moses agreed because he wanted to be helpful. They stayed late at the office working together. During that time, they talked about many things. Clara shared stories about her life. She spoke confidently and seemed very independent. Moses found her interesting. When Moses returned home that night, Jessica was waiting for him with food. She smiled and asked about his day. Moses smiled back but did not mention Clara. Days turned into weeks. Clara continued to get closer to Moses. She often complimented him and made him feel important. Slowly, Moses began to enjoy the attention. Jessica did not notice anything at first. She continued her normal routine, trusting her husband completely. But change often starts in small ways before becoming big. Moses started coming home late more often. At first, he said work was becoming more demanding. Jessica believed him because she knew he was hardworking. But she began to notice small differences. Moses spent more time on his phone. Sometimes he smiled while reading messages and quickly hid the screen when Jessica came close. Jessica began to feel worried. She did not want to suspect her husband, but her heart felt uncomfortable. One evening, Moses did not return home at the usual time. Jessica called him many times, but he did not answer. She began to feel nervous. When Moses finally returned, he said he had extra work at the office. Jessica accepted his explanation but felt uneasy. Meanwhile, Clara continued to get closer to Moses. She often invited him for short outings after work. At first, Moses refused. But after some time, he accepted one invitation. That one decision began a dangerous path. Moses did not realize that every small choice he made was slowly damaging his marriage. Jessica continued to trust him, not knowing that her peaceful home was already facing a serious test. The future was about to reveal the true strength of love, loyalty, and personal value. Jessica tried to ignore the strange feeling in her heart, but it refused to go away. She loved Moses deeply and trusted him, yet something did not feel right. The man who once shared everything with her now seemed distant. Moses continued to spend more time outside the house. He came home late and often looked tired, but Jessica noticed that sometimes he looked happy in a way she could not understand. One evening, Jessica prepared Moses' favorite meal. She wanted to surprise him and make him happy. She arranged the food neatly and waited patiently. Time kept passing, but Moses did not return. Jessica called him many times, but he did not pick up. Her heart began to beat faster. She walked around the house, unable to relax. Finally, Moses returned home very late. Jessica tried to stay calm and asked him where he had been. Moses quickly replied that he had too much work at the office. Jessica looked at him carefully. She wanted to believe him, but something inside her told her the truth was different. She did not argue that night. She simply smiled and served the food. But deep inside her heart, she felt pain. Trust was slowly becoming weak. Clara continued to get closer to Moses. She always found ways to make him feel special. She praised his intelligence and told him he was different from other men. Moses began to enjoy the attention. He started spending more time talking with Clara at work. One evening, Clara invited Moses to her house, saying she needed help with an important office project. Moses hesitated at first, but he later agreed. When Moses arrived at Clara's house, everything looked calm. They discussed work at first, but later their conversation changed. Clara began to speak about personal things. She told Moses how lonely she sometimes felt. She told him she admired his calm nature and hardworking attitude. Moses felt comfortable talking to her. That night, Moses returned home very late again. Jessica was worried. She asked him what kept him so long. Moses gave another excuse. Jessica wanted to believe him, but her heart felt heavy. She began to wonder if something was wrong. But she was afraid to ask too many questions because she did not want problems in her marriage. As the days passed, Moses and Clara continued meeting secretly. What started as simple conversations slowly became something more serious. Moses began to lie more often. He created different stories to explain why he returned home late. Jessica continued to notice the changes. Moses was no longer as open as before. He spent less time talking with her and more time on his phone. Jessica began to feel lonely in her own marriage. One afternoon, Jessica saw a message appear on Moses' phone when he was in the bathroom. She did not open the message, but she saw Clara's name. Her heart dropped. She did not want to believe that Moses could betray her after everything she had done for him. She remembered all the years she worked hard to support him. She remembered the dreams they shared. Tears filled her eyes. That night, Jessica could not sleep. Her mind was full of questions. She began to fear that her sacrifice was being forgotten. Jessica finally gathered courage to speak with Moses. One evening, she sat quietly beside him and asked if everything was all right. Moses quickly said everything was fine. Jessica gently asked about Clara. Moses looked surprised and became defensive. He said Clara was only a colleague and nothing more. Jessica tried to explain how she felt, but Moses became angry. He said Jessica did not trust him. Jessica felt hurt by his reaction. She did not want to fight with him, but she also did not want to ignore her feelings. That night, Jessica cried quietly. She did not understand how their peaceful marriage had changed so quickly. She remembered the promise Moses made on their wedding day. She wondered if those promises still meant anything. Meanwhile, Moses continued seeing Clara without thinking about the consequences. He did not realize that every lie was slowly breaking Jessica's heart. Moses met Clara again and told her about the argument with Jessica. Clara did not show any concern. Instead, she told Moses not to worry too much. She said life was short and people should enjoy themselves. Moses did not notice that Clara never asked about his marriage or how Jessica felt. Clara only cared about having fun. Moses became more involved with her, ignoring the warning signs. At home, Jessica felt confused and helpless. She wanted to save her marriage, but she did not know what to do. She began to lose the peace she once had. One day, Jessica saw Moses leaving the house very late at night. He said he had an urgent meeting. Jessica watched him leave and felt a deep pain in her heart. She realized that something was seriously wrong. But she still hoped that Moses would change. She still believed that love could fix everything. Little did she know that the biggest test of her life was still ahead. Jessica's heart was no longer at peace. Every day felt heavy. The man she loved was slowly becoming a stranger. Moses no longer laughed with her like before. Their conversations became short and cold. Jessica tried her best to save her marriage. She became more caring and more patient. She prepared Moses' favorite meals and tried to spend more time with him. She hoped that love would bring him back. But Moses continued to move further away from her. He spent more time outside and often returned home very late. Sometimes he did not even eat the food Jessica prepared. Jessica began to feel invisible in her own home. One evening, she tried to talk to Moses again. She calmly asked if he was happy in their marriage. Moses became uncomfortable and said Jessica was thinking too much. Jessica felt hurt because she only wanted honesty. She remembered how she sacrificed her education and comfort just to support him. She remembered the dreams they shared together. Tears filled her eyes, but she remained calm. She still hoped things would change. Moses continued meeting Clara secretly. Clara made him feel excited and important. She often praised his appearance and told him he deserved to enjoy life. Moses did not notice that Clara never asked about his future or his goals. She only cared about the moments they spent together. One night, Moses stayed at Clara's house and did not return home. Jessica waited all night, unable to sleep. She kept calling his phone, but he did not answer. Her heart was filled with fear. When Moses returned the next morning, Jessica asked where he had been. Moses became angry and accused her of not trusting him. Jessica was shocked by his reaction. She did not understand why the man she loved was treating her this way. She began to feel deeply hurt and confused. Jessica decided to observe quietly instead of arguing. She began to pay attention to small details. She noticed Moses smiling at his phone more often. She noticed he quickly changed topics whenever she mentioned his workplace. Jessica felt her heart breaking slowly. She wanted to believe her husband, but the signs were becoming clearer. One afternoon, Jessica saw a message appear again on Moses' phone. This time she clearly saw Clara's name. Her hands began to shake. She felt pain deep inside her chest. Jessica realized that the problem was real. Her marriage was in danger. She did not want to accept the truth, but she could no longer ignore it. That night, she cried silently so Moses would not hear her. She felt alone. Jessica decided to confront Moses again, but this time she was more serious. She calmly asked him if he was seeing another woman. Moses became defensive and denied everything. He said Jessica was imagining things. Jessica tried to explain that she only wanted honesty and peace in their home. Instead of comforting her, Moses became more distant. Jessica felt disrespected. She realized that the man she trusted was no longer honest with her. Her heart was filled with sadness. She began to think deeply about her life and the sacrifices she made. She wondered if she had forgotten her own value. For the first time, Jessica began to think about putting herself first. Meanwhile, Moses continued spending time with Clara without understanding her true intention. Clara never spoke about commitment or future plans. She only focused on enjoyment. Moses believed she cared about him, but he never asked serious questions. One day, Moses told Clara that his marriage was facing serious problems because of their relationship. Clara showed no concern. She simply told him not to worry too much. Moses did not realize that Clara was not emotionally connected to him. He was slowly losing everything important in his life. Jessica, on the other hand, was becoming stronger inside. She began to understand that love should not destroy self-respect. She began to see that her happiness also mattered. Jessica did not know what decision she would make yet. But one thing was becoming clear. Her life was about to change forever. Jessica could no longer ignore the truth. Her heart had been patient for too long. She had given her love, her time, her energy, and even her education just to support Moses. But now, the same man she helped was slowly breaking her heart. One evening, Jessica sat quietly and thought deeply about her life. She remembered the dreams she once had as a young girl. She remembered how determined she was to succeed and make her family proud. She realized that she had forgotten her own dreams while trying to build someone else's future. Jessica decided she would not continue living in pain. She spoke to Moses calmly and told him she wanted honesty. She told him she deserved respect and truth. Moses did not give her the answers she hoped for. Instead, he remained distant. Jessica felt disappointed but also stronger than before. She realized that sometimes love is not enough when respect is missing. She began preparing herself for a big decision. Moses continued seeing Clara, believing she truly cared for him. He did not realize that he was slowly losing the most important person in his life. One day, Jessica finally discovered clear evidence of Moses' unfaithfulness. Her heart broke deeply, but she remained calm. She did not shout or fight. She simply accepted the truth. Jessica decided to end the marriage. It was the most difficult decision she had ever made, but she knew she deserved peace and respect. When she told Moses about her decision, he was shocked. He never believed Jessica would actually leave. He thought she would always forgive him because of her love. But this time, Jessica chose herself. She chose her peace. She chose her dignity. After the divorce, Moses ran to Clara, believing she would support him emotionally. But Clara's reaction surprised him. She told Moses clearly that she was never interested in a serious relationship with him. She said she only wanted enjoyment and nothing more. Moses felt shocked and confused. All the time he spent with Clara suddenly felt meaningless. He realized that he had lost a loyal and caring wife for something that had no real future. He tried to contact Jessica, but she had already moved on with her life. Moses was filled with regret. He understood too late that true love is rare and should never be taken for granted. Jessica focused on rebuilding her life. She decided to invest in herself. She worked hard, saved money, and improved her skills. She began to grow stronger and more confident. She promised herself that she would never again lose her identity for someone else. Jessica eventually found a good job that allowed her to live comfortably. She became peaceful and emotionally strong. Her experience taught her the importance of self-respect. She learned that love should never require losing yourself completely. She became an example of strength to others. People admired her courage and wisdom. Jessica finally found the peace she truly deserved. Moses, on the other hand, lived with regret. He often remembered Jessica's kindness and sacrifices. He realized that loyalty is more valuable than temporary pleasure. He understood that bad choices can destroy beautiful relationships. He wished he had appreciated Jessica when he had the chance. But life does not always give second chances. He had to accept the consequences of his actions. Love is important, but self-respect is more important. Never lose your future while trying to build someone else's future alone. True love should include respect, honesty, loyalty, and care. Sacrifice is good, but it should not destroy your personal growth. A good partner should support your dreams, not stop them. Temporary pleasure can destroy a lifetime of happiness. Choose wisely, because every decision has consequences. Value people who truly care for you. And most importantly, never forget your worth. When you respect yourself, others will respect you too. If this story adds value to you, please do well to give me a like, share, and comment on the video to share your thoughts. Most importantly, please support me by subscribing to this channel, turn on the notification button and follow for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.